This is the Cooper Effects Signal Path Selector. The Signal Path Selector allows you to, among other things, run two independent pedal chains and rearrange their order on the fly. Before I show you how that works, let's check out the two chains. For the sake of the clarity of this demonstration, I've got two pretty distinct sounds. On channel A, microcosm and tensor are working together to make a chewy reverb. And on channel B, we've got the paragraphs, which is a resonant low-pass filter that we can cycle or operate manually. You can switch each channel on and off, and the switches are latching with a quick press and momentary with a long press. Super handy. The three buttons in the middle affect how the channels are routed together. Right now they're running in parallel, but if we wanted to route channel A through channel B, well, that's what this button on the right does. Let's give it a go. As you'd expect, we're now hearing the reverb go through the filter. And if we want to do the exact opposite, no problem. This button right here does just that. Pay attention to how different the signal sounds when we swap the routing. Now that the filtered channel is feeding the reverb, we can let tiny phrases through as desired. And don't forget, we can always blend the dry signal back in to taste. Now's a good time to talk about phase inversion. When mixing signals like this, you're bound to run into a phase problem at some point. Signal Path Selector is ready to tackle that. You can flip the phase of either channel by holding down the outer button. It will blink steadily if the phase is inverted. Okay, so that's Signal Path Selector 101. It can very quickly transform your sound by giving you control over how your pedals are routed. And if that was all it could do, I'd still be thrilled. But as you might expect with a Cooper pedal, it's got a few really clever tricks up its sleeve. Okay, awesome thing number one is that in addition to being a signal router, it's also a feedback looper. That's right. By holding down the center button and turning either volume knob, you can send a little or a lot of each channel's signal back into itself, creating a feedback loop in which your pedals infinitely process their own output. As I add feedback to the tensor's channel, its pitch shifter pitches the pitch shifted, just listen. Okay, and this Randy's Revenge ring mod by Fairfield is pretty fun too. A flavor of insanity that I really enjoy. Again, every pedal handles feedback looping a little bit differently, and we could spend a lot of time talking about this feature, but for now, just know that it's here and it's super easy to use. Awesome thing number two is that every knob and button on this thing is addressable via MIDI, and this opens up all kinds of possibilities for MIDI users out there. My favorite use case so far is using MIDI LFOs on CCs to automate each channel's volume. I'm using an Empress Euro Bureau here to send MIDI, but you can use anything that sends MIDI CC messages, including your computer or your phone. And shameless plug, I have a video where I show you how to do this with your phone. I'll link to it below. Anyway, those LFOs are already running on Euro Bureau, so when I plug this cable in, you'll start hearing the volume levels of the different loops change. This can turn the Signal Path Selector into a very powerful generative tool, as you use random CC values to crossfade between complex chains as you play. Okay, awesome thing number 3 is that you can use Signal Path Selector as a 3-way splitter, but I've actually been having a lot of fun using it as a 2-way splitter and going into a pair of pedals that are different flavors of the same thing. For instance, these 2 analog delays, because I think it creates a really fun stereo image. Check it out. And awesome thing number 4, it's kind of the flip side of awesome thing number 3, and that is you can use Signal Path Selector as a 3-to-1 mixer. I think it's tons of fun to use Signal Path Selector as a performance mixer, and I'm using my hands here, but don't forget, we could also use MIDI to automate the knob turns, which would leave your hands free for more noodling. Alright, as you can see, Signal Path Selector is extremely powerful and useful. If you're into the idea of mixing and rerouting your effects chains, definitely check it out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to noodle around with these loops a little bit more, but we'll see you next time, and I wish you lots of happy music making. Until then, bye-bye.